Hello, welcome to Currently Trending, Harper's Bazaar Arabia's weekly podcast. I'm Millie Midwood, the Deputy Digital Editor.
And I'm Elizabeth, the Social Media Manager.
In this series, we'll be interviewing some of the region's most prolific shapeshifters, chatting to the new generation of Arab women and finding out what makes the world of fashion, beauty and celebrity in the Middle East tick.
So after a mini hiatus where we regrouped and watched a lot of Netflix, let's be honest, we're back with a wealth of fresh audio content just for you. And this week we have the one and only friend of Bazaar, Ria Jacobs, in the house.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
I'm good, thank you.
I feel like we haven't seen you for a while, Ria. What have you been up to recently?
It's been forever. This whole year has been started off on a very positive note. We've been shooting a lot of exciting things. And I've also been into painting now. So I'm actually coming up with an art series inspired by Dubai, which I'm really excited about. So apart from that, just my dog and me chilling.
So Ria has a really interesting story around this week's topic. We're going to be talking about the social pressures of Instagram particularly, but just sort of social media in general and what that's doing to our mental health and how we're combating it and what we're doing to kind of stay sane, if you like. So as the kind of catalyst to our discussion, we're going to talk about the talking egg.
The egg.
The egg.
The egg that broke the internet.
Oh my gosh.
Cracked the
Like
internet,
I saw
should
it the
say.
first time and I was like, this cannot be real.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw the likes increasing and increasing. I'm like, what has this world come to? Like, we're liking pictures of an egg.
So unless you've been living under a rock in February, the Talking Egg is an Instagram page that has been created and dedicated to getting more likes on a picture of an egg than Kylie Jenner's most liked photo of her baby Stormy holding her finger.
Which is a lot.
A lot. So
Yeah.
how many likes does this egg have now?
So I think it got up to like 52 million, you know.
Stop.
Yeah. It went pretty it got pretty epic numbers.
Yeah, it's at 52 million and they have 10.1 million followers on Instagram.
And is it still just one egg?
Yeah.
So
It's just one egg, like a brown little spotty egg.
it's one egg, but they've now
Is
posted
it free range?
They've posted a series of images. There's now 6 images of this egg. And as you kind of scroll through the images, every picture has a new crack on the egg. And I think they released a whole statement around this at the Super Bowl, basically saying how this egg was a social experiment. That's right, Elizabeth?
Yeah. So basically, during the Super Bowl, they released kind of the explanation as to what this egg was about and why. And in it, they said the egg spoke of the impact of going viral on mental health and the well-being due to kind of the social media pressures and how, you know, social media can make anyone crack, hence the egg. So
It's actually smart, though. That's really smart.
It's incredible because I think it brought to light so many other social media cores and they create for everyone on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and it is the pressure to always be deemed as perfect or airbrushed or feel they should look a certain way, which I know I'm not an influencer or a blogger, so I've never felt the pressure. I have felt the pressure in certain ways, and it's different to how you girls will feel it. And I think this will probably lead into nicely into you, Ria, and to what you did on Instagram, which was a beautiful image, absolutely stunning image of you.
Yeah.
But then the underlying kind of messaging behind it was a lot deeper.
Yeah.
So do you want to explain about your peach fuzz?
My peach fuzz. Okay, so it was completely unintentional. I just posted a photo and it was a look with like really sparkly eyes. And as soon as I posted it, I don't usually Facetune my photos. So you can still see the facial hair, like imperfections and all of that. But as soon as that came off, like a lot of people came up to me, I mean, on the comments, and they were like, Ria, it's so admirable that, you know, you didn't Facetune your hair. And I didn't necessarily understand it because I felt like it's something so, it's, everybody has facial hair. And people act like it's a very absurd thing. And how can something so organic seem unnatural? That's what I couldn't understand, you know? And but I'm really happy, I mean, with the amount of people who've been coming forth. I mean, from all around the world. I've been having people from the UK, from India, from Africa, from Greece even. Even from Greece. And I was like, wow, this is such a normal situation, but people kind of expand it into something so unnatural just because a couple of people think it's not attractive. I mean, who said that, you know?
It's crazy to me.
It's something so normal.
It's
like,
so natural.
How can something so natural be a flaw? You know?
But that's, again, arguably now, it's the pressure of magazines, it's the pressure of social media, it's the pressure from, you know, who is determining that isn't a beautiful look, or that isn't kind of accepted.
Yeah.
Because I know, are you aware of Jameela Jamil? Can I ever say her name right? Jameela Jamil. So she is all for embracing. I hate using the word flaws. It's not flaws.
Exactly. Like, how can something so natural be a flaw?
Things that set you apart.
Sets you apart.
Things that
It's your individuality, I feel.
So she's all about embracing the things that set you apart.
Yeah.
And she brought into the spotlight arm hair quite recently in a tweet, and she's embracing it. Let me try and find this tweet for you, actually.
She kind of kicked off her whole campaign with this thing called I Weigh, and she basically asked people on social media to write what they weigh more beyond their weight. So, you know, I weigh my career, I weigh my family, not just your body weight and how you look. We're so much more than that. And now that's kind of snowballed into a whole thing that she's doing around air quotations flaws, or, you know, or what we deem as flaws. So yeah, it sort of started about weight, and now it's become about arm hair.
Yeah, so basically, case in point, what week are we on today? So last week actually, she was pictured for a magazine, and she, thankfully, I will not name the magazine, but the magazine never retouched her arm hair. So she actually tweeted saying, "Hello arm hairs, you used to always be photoshopped out. Nice to see you again because you're normal and a fine thing to have." And that's so normal.
It's so normal, absolutely. No, I feel like the whole idea here isn't about hair or having no hair. It's about allowing girls to make a choice for themselves. I feel like for the longest time, we've always been told, like, here's what you need to do in order to be termed attractive. I mean, that's what I'm not okay with. I truly feel that if you feel you want to embrace your facial hair, you should do it. If you want to be groomed and trimmed, it's up to you. I don't think that you can actually sit here in 2019 and tell a girl, here's what you have to seem like tweezed and and that's what's attractive. I'm not okay with that. It has to be a choice.
So another thing that Jameela always does is she's quite big on calling out celebrities on social media who kind of promote these gummy bear sweets that are supposed to make you, or are supposed to make your hair really thick, and these protein shakes that are supposed to make you drop, you know, 10 pounds in like 5 minutes kind of thing.
And is it approved from the FDA? Is it FDA approved?
It is.
Okay.
But I'm wondering from your perspective, the celebrities that are promoting these kind of things, not only are they promoting a product that, you know, potentially doesn't work, that's like a whole different story, but they're really promoting the idea of these beauty ideals. So they're basically promoting the sentiment that you should have thick, shiny hair.
And you should be skinny with the slim tea.
That's kind of the big issue. And, you know, some of these celebrities are the biggest celebrities in the world. For example, Kim Kardashian, who is deemed, she is deemed one of the most beautiful people, you know. She obviously has amassed a huge following because of the way she looks. So it's kind of this like push-pull between people like Jameela and then people like Kim, who, you know, Jameela's trying to keep it very real, and then I feel like it gets kind of pulled back. So what do you think these celebrities should be doing? Because it's not just going to change overnight.
See, I feel like when you have that kind of impact on the masses, you truly have to think about how people will learn from it. I mean, I can't just sit here and say you have to look slim or you have to have thick long hair, because let's get real, that's not the fact. I mean, there are girls all around the world who have so many different shapes and sizes, and we need to embrace that. But I feel like celebrities get carried away by trying to make a fast check instead of trying to send out something that means, you know, a powerful, like something that means something in a way. And I feel like if I was in her place, would I do it? No. I feel like it would be too much pressure just because you're a human being. You have that kind of power. Why not use it to promote individuality and embracing your own kind of, you know,
Who
beauty?
are some people, or what are some pages that you think do kind of promote individuality really well?
Oprah Winfrey.
Oh,
I go on
one.
to Oprah's profile. I mean, that is what I aim to be, to truly inspire, to truly make some kind of impact. For me, she's an icon. I mean, Kim's great, for sure. I'm not going to trash another girl because that's not who I am. But if you ask me, who do I admire? I'd say Oprah Winfrey. She has such a huge platform. She makes such a huge impact. I mean, that's what it's all about, using your platform to truly make a difference. Because if you're just going to be there to make a fast check, well, you're not going to last. I mean, Oprah was here since I was like, 4 years old? And even, I mean, she's still like...
yeah, she's still so powerful.
She's still so powerful. And that's the reason why, because she's so, you know...
But then one could argue that Kim Kardashian has been around for how many years has she been in the industry now? And she's still going strong. She's showing no signs of slowing down. Her followers aren't diminishing by any means. Of
course.
So...
I mean, you asked me who I admire. I admire Oprah Winfrey. I think Kim Kardashian's great. I mean, she's done amazing things. But, yeah.
I think it's a totally...
different.
It's so different.
Exactly.
You know, Kim Kardashian, she has a massive, this huge following.
Yeah, 100%.
From... She kind of reinvents herself every year, every 6 months, and it... Power of Kris Jenner, like, you know, I'm a huge Kris Jenner fan.
No, I mean, to see how much she's grown and to see from where she came and how she's turned her whole family into this huge empire is great.
Her whole family, and now her children.
Yeah.
And her husband, you know, Kanye West is always going to be a legend, let's be real. But she does these really silly things, I think, like promoting teas or pills or shakes to promote, because she knows she has a huge influence on young girls, and these young girls are going to see this and think, oh, I want to get the abs like Kim Kardashian, I'm going to go and buy all of these products. But really, she never actually comes out and says, look, I go to the gym 5 days a week, and I work out for an hour and a half every each of those sessions. Yeah. I also, this is the diet that I have, and when it comes to looking the way I look, these are all the people who make it possible. This is how I contour, this is how I do my hair, and my hair is actually a lace wig. I think for me, what I would love to see her do, and I'd love her to come out and say, look, girls, you know, this is what I do. This is how I do my Instagram pictures, because she has her own photographer. Because she doesn't. I don't know if it's to do with the press, but I think it's to do with she wants to write all her own imagery. Yeah. I think we saw in the last Kardashians, they actually went to Tokyo, and they shot these pictures by her own photographer. So she has ownership over them, which is clever. You know, if anyone wants a Kim Kardashian picture, then you might have to pay for it. But people like Kim, yeah, you are great, but I think you need to use your following and your influence in a better and more positive way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not down for bashing other women, but I just
No,
think
of course.
that is one thing I think with Kim especially. But then again, at the end of the day, it's money. That's her career.
Is,
That's
yeah.
her how she makes a living. So it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Massively.
So you said that you get a lot of positive messages from women around the world
Yes.
that love what you're doing. Do you ever have to deal with any haters because of it?
Of course I do. I mean, just this other day, someone, I think they commented on my photos saying, you need to shave your face.
What?
Yeah, for sure. And that's okay because I'm okay with people's opinions, and I send them a comment saying, thank you for your comment, but I choose to embrace it. And that person actually sent me a comment again saying, I'm sorry, and it's so admirable to see you do that. And it's actually on my photo.
No way.
For sure. So it's always great to hear opinions, and but it's very important to stick to who you are at the end of the day, no matter what.
Do you feel when you kind of reply to these haters or trolls, or you want to call them, do you feel like 9 times out of 10 they reply and are like, oh, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to offend you?
Not always.
Okay.
And a lot of times I don't. I feel like the reason I answered this comment was because it's such a normal topic and I didn't quite understand why it was a problem. And I don't want any other young girl seeing that going, oh, you know what, she's getting hate for it, so if I do it, it's wrong. So that's the only reason why I answered it. But if there's any other hate comments, I just don't. I mean, because I'm not doing it to seek approval. I'm doing it to express myself through art and fashion. And I mean, that's the whole point of doing this.
How do you think generally women should kind of deal with bullies on social media? Because you mentioned that sometimes you respond to them, sometimes you don't. Mona Katan gave a talk in Dubai a couple of weeks ago, and they asked her about how she deals with trolls, and she said that anytime someone comments something negative that's really quite nasty, she blocks them, and then she blocks out the words that they use. So for example, if it was facial hair, she blocks out the word facial hair.
You can do that?
Yeah, so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently, so that those comments just can't get left on your posts. So what do you think that kind of does for the whole issue? I mean, is it better to kind of pretend that they don't even exist, or do you think it's better to see the comments and maybe it makes you stronger after seeing them?
See, let's be honest, she has such a big platform, so she must be getting a lot of hate along with a lot of good stuff. I think from her point of view, she might be doing it because she wants her space to be like a happy environment so you can get inspired and not just a very hurtful. So I get where she's coming from, but to answer your question about how to deal with hate, I feel it's not your problem. I mean, just think how troubled a person must be to actually go onto a stranger's profile and say something hateful. How hurt are you inside to actually do that to another person that you don't even know? So that is not about you anymore. It's about the other person.
So you almost pity them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I cannot even when I'm in a bad mood, I cannot take it out on somebody else and make them feel horrible about themselves, because that's not how I was raised and that's not how you all were raised, because that's just wrong. So I'm sure they must be going through something to make them, because it's easy, because there's no interaction. You see the person, because there's no interaction and you don't see the person. It's all through a screen anonymous. And it's anonymous, so it feels easy, but it's not, you know?
But what are these people getting out of this, though? This is what I still am trying so hard to understand. What gratification are they getting?
Maybe they don't. Maybe that's why they keep going. I mean, they just kind of, they get nastier and they troll even more because they're kind of looking for some kind of, I don't know, justification or some kind of...
I feel like they might be frustrated, so it's just another outlet to take out the frustration.
Wow.
Maybe.
So Millie, you are, as well as working for Harper's on our great team, you also are a blogger and you're really big into body positivity, and you're the only person who I actually follow when it comes to body positivity. Mine is Ashley Graham,
Yeah,
obviously.
absolutely.
But have you ever received any harmful comments or nasty comments regarding this?
So I would class myself still as very small. I mean, the amount of followers I have in relation to kind of the blogging industry is tiny. So I don't really get comments directly, but I've heard that apparently people have said things. I mean, I always feel quite out of place at fitness events because there's a lot of, size 6, size 8 girls in their sports bras, which is not me. And we took a group picture at this one event, and they were all in their little sports bras and they all looked amazing. They had their abs on display. I was wearing a long sleeve top, which is kind of my go-to uniform in the gym. And apparently someone posted it on their Instagram page, and a lady commented on it being like, "Who's the fat one at the back?" about me. I never saw this comment because it got removed, but I was told that someone left that comment. So I don't know. I was actually thinking about this morning.
That's disgraceful.
Yeah, fat as well. It's such a loaded word. What do you mean by that? And also, if someone's fat, so what?
So what? Exactly. I mean, we cannot sit and just be like, this is what you need to look like. There's so many shapes and sizes. Get real,
I do go through days where sometimes I just think it's all about individuality, embrace what you've got, don't let anyone bring you down. But then, especially working in the fashion industry where, sample clothes are always a size 8, models are always so skinny, you kind of sometimes sit there and think, am I actually doing something wrong? Like, how is everyone around me a good 2 dress sizes smaller than me and I'm not? I mean, literally 90% of the people will be. So you think, I am really the minority, and is that wrong?
Yeah. Like from my perspective here as well, it's sample sizes are just they make you feel just so inadequate. When you're asking for a dress for an event, it's like, oh, what size are you? And it's like, oh, I'm UK 12, but it's like, oh, we only carry like
up to 8.
Up to 8, and it's like, sorry, what?
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the times there have been times where I'm just like, you know what, I won't even go to an event because I feel embarrassed, I feel ashamed, I feel like I'm going to be the big one out of the group because everyone in the fashion industry is apparently now these sample sizes, and it's not the case, but you can get yourself you can go down a really dark hole.
Yeah, you go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, and you just feel as if you're not
fitting
good enough.
in.
You're not fitting in because you don't fit into society's definition of
And I feel like people's
perfect.
brains have kind of been programmed now to think that skinny is the kind of only way to be. I mean, I walked past someone in our office last week. I think you had this as well, actually. And she said, "Oh my God, Millie, you've lost so much weight," which, by the way, I actually haven't. I just think I was wearing a great, like a flattering dress.
Yeah.
And she looked at me as if, to say, well, where's my, waiting for me to be like, oh my God, thank you. And I was like, why should I be thankful that you think I've lost weight? I mean, it literally doesn't make a difference to my life if you think that.
No, not at all.
She was, she was doing it to be nice,
Yeah.
but it still was, I just thought our brains have been programmed, the positive reinforcement that comes with telling someone you've lost weight makes you do it more.
Yeah, massively. So one person I'm really fangirling over at the moment is Bebe Rexha. So Bebe Rexha came out quite recently and called out all the designers who refused to dress her for the Grammys. So the designers refused to dress Bebe Rexha for the Grammys, like the biggest music event to take place, in ever, really.
And she's a big name as well.
No, she
now.
is.
She's a big
name,
name,
and she's gorgeous.
The reason why they refused her is because she was over sample size.
Yeah.
She was a US 8, I think, so that was UK 12. And she spoke out, and she really spoke out about it, and it was great. And thankfully, so many designers came back and said, actually, BB, like, if they don't give you a dress, we'll give you a dress, we'll design clothes for you. And a Bahraini label called Mansouri, I think they've dressed her before, stepped up to the plate and designed her the most beautiful red tulle gown I think I've ever seen. And she looked phenomenal in it. You know, she didn't look like a US 8. You know, she probably was one of the best dressed women at the Grammys. And she looked great for it because, okay, she had you know, a bit of something about it other than...
And it was a great week for Middle Eastern fashion as well, just because the amount of European designers that turned her down and, you know, to see our region come and support.
Such a huge star.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think she is someone that I'm going to be keeping an eye on.
Me too.
No,
I think she's a good one to watch.
Yeah, because people like this get kind of go under the radar a little bit, don't they? And I think you know, the likes of Cardi B, who I'm such a huge fan of, and she's always going to call people out.
Yeah.
But I think Bebe Rexha has really taken one for the team.
For sure. No, and I feel like it's so inspirational for her to actually speak up about it, because being on that platform, it's really hard to actually say things like this because you don't know who might get upset and, you know.
And you can't take it back.
No.
Because once it's on Instagram, the
it's
whole
done.
world
Especially
has
when
seen
you've got
it.
millions of followers like she does.
100%.
It's screen grabbed and that's it.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
So what are some ways that you take care of your mental health, particularly pertaining to social media?
I mean, look, everybody has those days where they feel like, oh my God, I look like, you know, and I don't feel good, I don't look good, my skin's not great. I think that's when you have to zone out. I always make it a priority. Fridays are my day off. Like, I don't even go on social media. It's just me and my family. Just take care of the things that are close to you and like paint, or just try to work on yourself, because that's what it is about at the end of the day. You have to work on yourself. Only then can you grow. And with social media, I feel like it's an input to an extent where you express yourself, but be really careful of how much you take back from it. You can take back all the inspiration and all the affirmations, but all the hate, it's got to stay on Instagram. Do not take it home with you. I feel that's the easiest way to deal with these things.
And maybe you just answered this question for me, but what advice would you give young girls who are thinking of going into a blogging, YouTubing career where they're going to be putting themselves out there on social media?
I feel, think about it in a way that it's a platform to express yourself and express who you are and not who everybody else expects you to be. I feel that's the most important point there. And always have a strong team. A team meaning like your family, your friends, who you know will tell you things as is and not just because you're a certain somebody. I think that's really important to have a strong, team.
I find,
support system.
Yeah, the support system for me is definitely the most grounding thing. Having, family and friends around you that some of them aren't even on Instagram. They have no idea how it works, and it's just, it's so refreshing.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I feel like we all need those days off. It can't be like a 24/7 thing where you just feed off everything Instagram, shares with you, good or bad.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth, as someone who works in social media, and you're obviously very much behind the scenes as an onlooker, and you're always seeing the trends and how things change, do you think you're seeing a change in how women are kind of becoming more about body positivity, or do you think it's stagnated a little bit?
I think as of late it has really improved, especially the New York Fashion Week has just taken place. And there was so much more diversity and inclusivity on the catwalks. That was amazing to see and great, by certain influencers, by influential people, to help improve the kind of the image and to kind of raise the inclusivity topic more, especially. But there should be a governing body where you can call out and say, no, that is not okay. That is not okay for a young girl to see that. Imagine the mental health issues that can come from this. Then the next post is talking about Facetune or a photo editing app or how to make yourself look skinnier in like 3 taps. And I've never used Facetune. I wouldn't know how to use it if I tried. Plus, I only have like 3 followers. So it's really not.
Including me and Rhea. Yeah, me too.
So it's not don't come into my realm, but there is that pressure all the time to look. I would like to see a movement happen where things like diet pills and things like Facetune and all these superficial apps and superficial kind of messaging just gets called out, really.
Do you know what? I feel like that's something that needs to come from the inside.
We need a Diet Prada.
We need like a... I was just going to say that. I was like, we need a Diet Prada.
We do.
So I have a question for you off the back of what you just said. We need some kind of movement. So obviously this change isn't going to happen overnight. Yeah. So it's, you know, the micros that inform the macros. So if you could change one small thing now, or you could ask people on social media to start as of today doing one little thing differently, what would it be?
I would say stop trying to be someone else. I would say embrace your own individuality, create your own idea of what's attractive. Don't just see, look, it's such a normal thing. We all look completely different. So how can you change your whole look to look like another person? I just don't get that. You know what I mean? Like with influencers and all these stars, a lot of young girls try to look like them. But the whole idea is that we are supposed to be our own person. I feel just do your thing, and that's something that I wish everybody does. Just embrace your individuality, whatever it may be.
What would be your little movement that you would start as of today? I would recommend, if it was just one little small thing to start, I would tell people to go out and follow one person on social media that makes you feel good about yourself. And one person, and unfollow one person that makes you feel bad. So maybe it's one of those fitness people or models that you just, every time you look at them, you think, why don't I look like that? Unfollow them. And then go and follow an Ashley Graham or a Bebe Rexha or a Jameela and start slowly changing your mindset.
I think as well, one thing for me is smile.
That's a nice one.
Sweet.
That's so you as well.
So me. You know, a smiling picture, it's just so nice. It's so happy. It's just, you want to like double tap.
Yeah.
You just see too many girls nowadays who contour the life out of the face and pout. Yeah. You know, I have family members who do that, and I'm like, what are you doing? Stop it. So I think smiling. One thing, one picture, just smile.
Just smile.
My next one's going to be dedicated to you.
Okay.
And I'm going to tag you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's all tag Elizabeth in our smiling pictures on social media.
Hashtag just smile. On that note, thank you so much, Rhea, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This has been so fun and inspirational almost. So
we love having you. We definitely want to get you back.
Done. Let's do it.
I want to sing a song then, but...
Sing one.
Sing
please.
it.
I can't do it.
Do it.
No.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
It's only for the office. Look, that's peer pressure.
Social pressures.
Yeah. No, thank you so much.
Thank you again for listening. If you want to hear more from Elizabeth and I, then make sure you subscribe to this podcast as well as rate, review and share it. And we'll see you again next week.